and Bethany were in their rooms during the time of the murders. On June 23, 2022, Bryan Kohberger opens his cell phone account in Pullman, Washington, with his new number ending in 8458.
What's up, guys? True Crime King back. Alright, like I said, I'm going to do this reaction to this Gray Hughes timeline. If you want to see it without my reaction, then just go to Gray Hughes and watch it without my reaction. I don't need any comments saying, don't pause it, or, this is going to be with my reaction, okay? Obviously, it's my freaking channel. So please, I don't want to hear any freaking comments. And I think that's about it. So after you watch this and hear what I have to say, if you still think KOHBERGER is innocent, to be quite honest with you, I think that you're loony, and I don't think you should be able to vote. Or especially be on a jury, okay? There's no debating this, and you'll see what I'm talking about when you watch this freaking video, okay? So here we go.
August 16, 2022, law enforcement shows up to 1122 King Road regarding a noise complaint and gives Kaylee Gonzalez a verbal warning. On August 21, 2022, between 10:34 p.m. and 11:35 p.m., KOHBERGER's phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to 1122 King Road. At 11:37 p.m. that same night, Latah County Sheriff Deputy Corporal Duke's body camera and report showed Bryan KOHBERGER was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho. KOHBERGER was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate LFZ 8649.
Okay, real quick. Once again, Bryan KOHBERGER has no reason to be in Moscow, Idaho. None. He doesn't work there, right? He can get his groceries, he can get everything he needs in Pullman, Washington, where he lives, okay? There's no reason to be in Moscow, Idaho, okay? So once he's stalking these girls, okay? And take note, the reason the police know for a fact that they found the white Elantra that they were looking for, you crime circus nuts, are because of the license plate number, okay? The license plate number. They know it. He was pulled over before the murders, guys, okay? And they have his cell phone number, and you know, they traced everything, okay? So it's not like they're just guessing that this was the Elantra. No, this is the Elantra, okay?
Set to expire on November 30th, 2022. KOHBERGER provided his phone number, which ended in 8458. KOHBERGER's phone utilized resources consistent with this traffic stop at Farm Road and Pullman Highway. On September 1st, 2022, at 8:50 p.m., law enforcement showed up to 1122 King Road again regarding a noise complaint. Law enforcement speaks to Madison Mogan on the phone. Then at 12:40 a.m. on September 2nd, the following morning, law enforcement shows up yet again to 1122 King Road almost 4 hours later for another noise complaint. This time, law enforcement speaks with Xana Kernodle.
Oh, and, you know, Drip Drop and Crime Circus would say that these cops are corrupt, and this is a conspiracy, right? They're showing up for a freaking noise complaint, right? They're having parties. They're doing their job, okay? This happens in every town, in every college town, all the time, okay? So, is every freaking police that shows up for a noise complaint corrupt? Give me a break, okay? So let's put that to bed now. Crime Circus, you need to retire, okay?
On September 23rd, 2022, Bryan KOHBERGER, who is a teacher's assistant, has an altercation with a faculty member. On October 3, 2022, Kohberger meets with Professor Snyder to discuss norms of professional behavior. On October 14th...
So yeah, Bryan Kohberger, he's freaking acting strange and doing crap at work, right? And his boss is even talking to him. So obviously, he's not right in the head, okay?
2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained at another traffic stop by a WSU officer. Kohberger was the sole occupant, driving a 2015 white Elantra, plates LFZ 8649.
And again, they have the plates again. They see the exact same Elantra that drives past it. You'll see in a second here, okay? And take note of the date, 10/14, just about a month away from the murders, okay?
On October 21st, 2022, Professor Snyder emailed Kohberger about how he has failed to meet the expectations of a teacher's assistant.
All right, hold on. I want to pause it and read it. So, September 23rd, you had an altercation with a faculty member you support as TA Professional Snyder. I met with you on October 3rd to discuss norms of professional behavior. On October 21st, Professor Snyder emailed you about the ways in which you had failed to meet your expectations as a TA thus far this semester. As a result, on November 2nd, Graduate Director Wiltis and I met with you to discuss an improvement plan, which you agreed to, and I share with you in an email dated November 3rd. We met again on December 7th, this time with Professor Snyder as well as Dr. Willis and I to discuss your progress on the improvement plan. While not perfect, we agreed that there was progress.
On November 2nd, 2022, the graduate director met with Kohberger to discuss an improvement plan. On November 3rd, 2022, Kohberger agrees to the improvement plan via email. Bryan Kohberger's phone utilized the same cellular resources as 1122 King Road at least 12 times prior to November 13th, 2022.
Okay, did you just hear that? So his cell phone used the Moscow, Idaho tower and resources at least 12 times prior to the murders. Okay? That means he was in the vicinity of this house at least 12 times. Why? There's no reason. There is zero reason for him to come. And some of you are going to say, he could have just, no, he didn't know anybody over there. He wasn't visiting anybody over there. And like I just said, he can get all his groceries, he can get his anything he needs over in Washington. He doesn't need to come to Moscow, Idaho, a different state. Which, why would you get your car worked on in a different state? That makes no sense at all. I'm just trying to think of things, why he would come to Idaho. And you know what the conclusion I came to? He's stalking these girls. Hello? And again, he was seen at the Moscow University so many times. The students there thought Kohberger went there. Hello? Again, no reason to be there either. Okay? So, come on, you guys. I'm trying to get you last little stragglers to finally admit, hey, there's no defending Kohberger anymore. Okay? That ball has left the court. Okay?
All but one of these occasions were in the late evening hours, from 9 p.m. on November 12, 2022
in the late evening
to 1:45 a.m. on November 13, 2022, Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were attending a Sigma Chi fraternity party at 735 Nez Perce Drive. Bethany Funk estimated that Ethan and Xana returned to the King Road residence at 1:45 a.m. Ethan did not live there. Between 10 p.m. on November 12, 2022 and 1:30 a.m., On November 13, 2022, Kaylee and Madison were at the Corner Club in downtown Moscow, Idaho. Not long after that, Kaylee and Madison went to the grub truck at 318 Main Street in downtown Moscow for a late-night snack. At 1:43 a.m. on November 13, 2022, Madison and Kaylee arrive at the grub truck and leave about 10 minutes later. At 1:53 a.m., Kaylee and Madison leave the grub truck with the food they purchased and received a ride home from a private.
And we all know this grub truck video. This was, the only video available at the time of the murders, and we all were analyzing this, trying to see if any of these guys were involved, right? Which obviously this was just a night out, okay, and they just happened to be captured on video, okay.
Party. At 1:56 a.m., Kaylee and Madison arrive at 1122 King Road, their residence. At 2 a.m., all occupants of the residence are home, according to Bethany Funk. Between 2:26 a.m. and 2:52 a.m., Kaylee Gonzalez calls her boyfriend Jack 7 times. Madison Mogan tried calling Jack 3 times as well, from 2:44 a.m. to 2:52 a.m. Kaylee's boyfriend did not answer any of these phone calls. In between those phone calls at 2:42 a.m., cell phone data records obtained via the FBI Cellular Analysis Survey Team, or CAS, showed Kohberger's phone utilizing cell resources consistent with Bryan Kohberger being near his residence.
Okay, and real quick, before we analyze and Gray shows Kohberger's cell phone movements, okay, they got this using the FBI's resources, okay, the best of the best, okay, so there's no disputing this, okay, this is what happened, okay, he just told you, he uses the FBI's CAST system or whatever it is, the best of the best. It's not just some crappy, this is what Kohberger did, okay?
At 2:44 a.m., Kohberger's white Elantra is seen on camera traveling north on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington. At 2:47 a.m., Kohberger's phone utilizes cellular resources that provide coverage to southeast of his residence, showing he has left his residence and is heading south in Pullman. At 2:40.
Okay, he's in Pullman. There's nothing suspicious. He's by his house. That's totally fine, right?
2:47 a.m. as well, Kohberger's phone stops reporting to the network, which means he turned his phone off or put his phone in airplane mode, or his phone was in the area without coverage. He is in Pullman, and there is cell phone coverage. Therefore, it is most likely it was turned off or in airplane mode. Given the
So why would he do that, guys? Why would he put his phone in airplane mode or turn it off? Most likely turn it off, right?
The fact that Kohberger's white Elantra was traveling north on Nevada Street at 2:44, it's likely that he pulled over and then at 2:47 a.m. he turned off his phone. At 2:53 a.m., Kohberger's white Elantra is seen on camera traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington, towards SR 270, which connects to Moscow, Idaho. At 3:26 a.m., Kohberger's white Elantra is in Moscow, Idaho, driving in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive, heading west. At 3:28 a.m.
So why is his white Elantra in Moscow, Idaho, and about to go right around, make 3 passes around 1122 King Road? And remember, they know it's his Elantra because they've pulled him over twice before these murders, and they know his license plate, and his cell phone data lines up with it. It's 100% his Elantra, and it's Bryan Kohberger, okay? There's no disputing that.
Kohberger's white Elantra is spotted on surveillance camera at the A&W restaurant at Steiner and Idaho State Highway 95. This video showed the vehicle did not have a front license plate. And as you remember, vehicles in Pennsylvania do not have to have a front license plate. At 3:29 a.m., Kohberger's white Elantra enters the area of 1122 King Road. Kohberger's white Elantra makes 3 initial passes. At 3:31 a.m. on pass number 1, Kohberger's white Elantra travels down Queen Road and then behind 500 Queen Road and then around in front of 1122 King Road and then out of the area via Wallanta Drive.
So anybody out there, why would Bryan Kohberger do this? Name one other explanation other than staking this house out and getting ready to murder these people. Name one. You can't, because there is no explanation. Okay? There is none. Right? It's Bryan Kohberger in that car. He admitted no one else is driving his car, right? It's Bryan Kohberger in the car. So I just want to get that out the way, because I don't want to hear any comments that somebody else was in Kohberger's car. No, it's Kohberger in the car. Unless they stole his cell phone and they had permission to drive his car, and Kohberger was somewhere else, which he already admitted nobody else was driving his car. That's why he turned his phone off, because he thought he would be safe, right? But hello, the FBI have the best of the best resources. Remember that.
And then at 3:39 a.m. on pass number 2, Bryan Kohberger's white Elantra travels down Queen Road again, and then behind 500 Queen Road, and then around in front of 1122 King Road, and then out of the area via Wallanta Drive.
How creepy is that, right? I mean, just look at the way his car's
Then
going.
at 3:57 a.m., Bryan Kohberger's white Elantra makes pass number 3.
Three
It travels
times.
down Queen Road, and then behind 500 Queen Road, and then around in front of 1122 King Road, and then out of the area via Wallanta Drive.
And this is at 3:57. 10 minutes before the murders. Or less than that.
Now that pass takes double the time as the first one, being at 3:31, 3:39, and this one is at 3:57. So it's possible that on this route he either waited longer by watching the residents at that time.
Exactly.
And that might be the time that the DoorDash driver showed up. It also could mean that he drove farther away and came back. We don't know, but he does finish the pass at around 3:57. At approximately 4 a.m., DoorDash delivers a meal to Xander Kernodle at the residence 1122 King Road.
That's most likely why he didn't go in a little earlier, because the DoorDash driver shows up at 4 a.m. Okay? That's all. It was just a coincidence. I mean, when you're committing these murders, you could stake it out 100 times, but the night that you actually go there, you can't plan for a random DoorDash driver to show up, right? You can't. So he waits, and he goes in after the DoorDash driver leaves. He staked it out 3 times. He sees that there's not that many cars there, right? So they're not having a party, okay? And he can see if the lights are on or off, right? I mean, or how many lights are on or off, okay?
Kohberger's white Elantra makes a 4th and final pass. At 4:06 a.m.,
passes.
the white Elantra travels down Queen Road, and then behind 500 Queen Road, number 52, and turns around and goes west down Queen Road towards the intersection of King and Queen Road. All of these actions are filmed on a surveillance camera mounted at 1330 Linda Lane.
And I mean, some of you are saying that these Linda Lane footage are fake. No, they're real, okay? 100% real, okay? They have been verified. They are real. So I don't need, again, I'm squashing all of these, crap before you guys try and comment and with your excuses. No, there is no excuse. These are the facts of the case, okay? You follow the evidence. I'm not guessing, and Gray's not guessing either, like Mr. Crime Circus does, okay?
Footage of the white Elantra matches the probable cause document perfectly.
Yup.
At 4:07 a.m., the white Elantra does a three-point turn at the intersection of Queen and King Road, and then continues back east down Queen Road, reinitiating pass number 4 by traveling down Queen Road and then behind 500 Queen Road. At 4:08 a.m., pass number 4 completes near or in the parking area adjacent to 1122 King Road and is parked there for approximately 12 minutes.
Approximately 12 minutes, okay? So Bryan Kohberger, in this time period, sneaks in the slider, the back second floor slider, right? He doesn't use a tunnel, right? He doesn't use a parachute, okay? Like Crime Circus has been trying to say, right? He goes into the slider. He has a K-bar knife that's designed to kill. That's it, okay? He sneaks up into Kaylee and Maddie's room. He surprises them while they're sleeping, and he stabs them to death. And does the same thing to Xana and Ethan, and then walks out. We have an eyewitness, Dylan, that sees him walk out.
In which time, Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez all lost their lives to a psychopath using a sharp force instrument. At approximately 4 a.m., Dylan Mortensen says she awoke to the sound of what she thought was Kaylee playing with their dog. I believe this time is more likely to be 4:09 or 4:10 a.m. And that is the time that Kohberger is attacking Kaylee and Madison. At 4:12 a.m., Xana is using TikTok, and Dylan hears who she thinks is Kaylee say, "There's someone here." But this could have been Xana, since she was still awake, having just received the DoorDash. Dylan looks out her door, but sees nobody. Dylan hears someone say, "It's okay, I'm here to help." That is likely Kohberger.
And you just saw how small Kaylee and Maddie's room is, right? I mean, there's nowhere to go, right? You got some psycho with a freaking big ass K-bar knife, where you can't go anywhere, right? And he most likely got to the first girl while she was totally unaware, right? And so she had no chance. And the second girl barely had any chance to defend herself at all, if any, right? And there's nowhere to go. I mean, you just saw how small that room was.
At 4:17 a.m., the security camera located at 1112 King Road, which is directly adjacent and to the northwest of the crime scene property at 1122 King Road, picked up what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud.
Yeah.
At around the same time, at 4:17 a.m., Dylan opens her door for the third time
Yeah.
after she heard that very same crying or whimpering sound. She saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her.
That is most likely what Bryan Kohberger looked like. Right? He didn't have a full mask on because she could see his eyebrows, right? That had to be one scary freaking sight, right? I mean, it was Bryan Kohberger, a weird dude, a psychopath, in their house at 4 in the morning. It's just, he's a psycho, and he needs to be in the media and on YouTube. He needs to be treated like a psychopath, right? Like Harsh Reality is trying to say, oh, you give him his due process, which he doesn't even know what that means, right? You can have opinions when there's so much evidence out there that Kohberger is guilty, right? That's why I'm treating him like this, because there's no debating. He did all this. It's done, right? It's only a matter of time before he has his trial, and then they find him guilty. He's guilty. That's my total opinion, and it should be yours after watching this.
Dylan described the person as 5'10" or taller, a male not very muscular but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The person walked through the kitchen and out the back sliding glass doors. At approximately 4:20 a.m., Kohberger's white Elantra departs the King Road residence area at a high rate of speed. Kohberger's white Elantra heads south on Walenta Drive. At approximately 4:25 a.m., Kohberger exits the area at Conestoga Drive and Palusa River Drive. At 4:48 a.m., a very significant cell phone ping occurs when Kohberger's phone utilizes resources that provide coverage to Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow, Idaho, near Blaine, Idaho. Between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m., Kohberger's phone utilizes cellular resources consistent with his phone traveling south on Highway 95 to Genesee. It then travels west to Uniontown, Idaho, and then north to Pullman, Washington.
So he, in my opinion, he was taking all those back roads, right, to not get on any security cameras, right? And he most likely discarded the murder weapon, the K-bar knife, somewhere along that route, or who knows? Maybe he kept it. I mean, remember, the police weren't on his trail for about a month after these murders, until they did that genealogy and connected the dots, right? And Kohberger had almost a month to clean up any evidence that was in his car. He was seen cleaning the inside of his car with bleach or something, and he was seen by the cops and his neighbors taking his trash out in the middle of the night with gloves on. Okay? I mean, just that alone is suspicious. Not to mention everything we've just watched and seen and heard. Okay?
5:25 a.m. Kohberger's white Elantra is observed on multiple cameras returning to Pullman, Washington. It's seen at 1300 Johnson Road, and that very same camera watches his vehicle travel north on Bishop Boulevard and then northwest on SR 270.
See, when he gets back to Pullman, there's no avoiding the cameras. So he's on camera returning right after the murders occurred. Okay, and let's not forget, Kohberger does not have an alibi. His alibi is he was driving around near Moscow, Idaho, doing nothing. And you know what? That would be an excellent alibi for the person that committed the crime, because you don't have an alibi. Hello, people. I mean, it all just fits. It just does, right?
At 5:27 a.m., Kohberger's white Elantra is observed traveling north on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Grimes Street, Wilson Road, and Cougar Way. At 5:30 a.m., Kohberger's phone utilizes cellular resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington. This cellular data is consistent with the video evidence of Kohberger's car returning back to his residence. At 9 a.m., Kohberger's phone leaves Pullman, Washington. Between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m., Kohberger's phone utilizes resources that cover the 1122 King Road residence. At 9:32 a.m., Kohberger's phone utilizes resources consistent with his phone traveling back to the area of his residence.
Remember, he went back near to 112 King Road, probably because he knew he left his freaking sheath there, and he most likely saw police or whatever, and knew he couldn't go back in that house, right? So then he turns around and goes back. I mean, this is all caught on camera. This is all caught on his cell phone records. It's irrefutable evidence, okay? He's not that smart, guys. He's not very smart at all.
At 12:36 p.m. on November 13, 2022, Kohberger's phone utilizes cell resources that provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. The UF Chef store, located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, which is adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe, showed Kohberger's vehicle drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with the use of the cell resources of Kate's Cup of Joe. At 12:46 p.m., Kohberger's phone utilizes cell resources in the area of Albertson's grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington. Kohberger is seen on camera exit his white Elantra at 12:49 p.m. Between 12:50 p.m. and 1:04 p.m., Kohberger is seen on internal surveillance cameras walking through the store and purchasing unknown items at the checkout. Although I'm quite sure law enforcement has an idea of exactly what he purchased since the time this probable cause document was written. At 1:04...
Yeah, I mean, law enforcement knows exactly what he got there. I'm sure they went, they looked at the security footage and everything, right? I mean, who knows? Maybe he was purchasing bleach or anything to clean up his car to make sure, and his body to make sure there's no evidence, right? I mean, who knows, right? And to anybody that thinks you can't get rid of all the evidence, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Okay, he had almost a month. What are you talking about, right? You can get rid of anything, in that amount of time, right? I mean, it's just stop, think. What did you guys all just see? You just saw irrefutable proof. Bryan Kohberger is the man. I have no problem saying that. He is going to be found guilty, and I hope he gets the death penalty. That's my opinion. This video is getting long now, so I played you what I wanted to play you. If you want to see the end, I encourage you to go to Gray Hughes and watch this video and watch all the videos that he's done on KOHBERGER, because there's a lot more that just keep on proving that he is the killer. So, once again, to all you, to the stragglers out there that still for some reason cannot fathom that Bryan KOHBERGER is guilty, then you need to watch these videos. And if not, then you're never going to change your mind, and you're just, for some reason, defending a murderer and a psychopath, and you most likely have a mental illness. Okay, that's my opinion. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button. Go to Gray Hughes' channel. Great job, Gray. And until next time, guys. True Crime King out.